Here we have a Jeep Patriot which has come in because it has a charging system fault. The alternator had previously been removed by a third-party garage and taken into a specialist company that tests and repairs alternators. They found nothing wrong with the alternator, although they did put a new voltage regulator on it just for the sake of it. It's been put back on, still not charging. It's coming to me because apparently it's got a suspected instrument cluster fault. Well, this is the same for any vehicle with an alternator. Start with the basic tests. So I've had the engine running, sure enough, no alternator output. Gave a little wiggle to the connections on the back of the alternator in case it's a poor connection. I don't know if you quite see that down in there. You probably can't. Put my meter on the back of the alternator, the main output, with the engine running. It was only showing 1 volt, which is very odd because even if the alternator isn't charging, that main connection runs straight to the battery, and that should be battery voltage, and it isn't. So next thing I did was just checked where these cables come through. You can even get corrosion on here, as you can see they're fairly well corroded. So just a test light between the negative and there, and that's lighting up the test light. Actually put it to the cable in case it's corroded in here and it's not connecting, and they're all working fine. So then the next thing to do is to trace that cable through from the alternator, which, as you can see, is that one. That's all fairly solid. Usually runs through to the starter motor, because it says you're having 2 cables, one from the starter motor and one from the battery. Get your hand up in here and then you find this is the cable from the alternator, which isn't actually connected to anything. So the terminal's broken off there, so I'll put a new ring terminal on there and reconnect that and get the alternator going. So the moral of the story is, if you've got alternator issues, don't start looking at expensive what might be's. Do the basic tests. You can see the battery terminal there, that sort of rusty nut on the back of the alternator. Get a meter on there or a test light and make sure that is actually connecting to the battery and you've got battery voltage there, and then just check these connections on these little wires. So yes, I'll put a new terminal on there, and then I'll be able to test the output, and I'm sure we'll find that the alternator is outputting and charging the battery.